I typically avoid animal ag advertisement because the fact that it's so dishonest really just makes me feel a certain type of way. I was sent this video by Arla and I just couldn't believe it.
Everybody's free to feel good,
They're trying to give off this idea that the cows are happy, they're free. Arla is one of the biggest dairy companies in the entire world. They have an awful lot of dairy cows and supply a lot of dairy and like to give this idea, yeah, that these animals are free and they're happy. This is what's said in this video. They love to sell this idea that these cows are having a great time, because if they're not having a great time, people feel very uncomfortable about what is happening to these animals before they get their product. Myself and Chris Hines were involved in an expose of Arla a few years ago, and this is specifically why this particular advert really annoyed me because this is not the condition that these animals are put in. Let's have an actual look of an example of what a farm is like for a cow under the protection of Arla. This is 4942. We call her Rose. She is one of the many unfortunate mothers of the dairy industry. What you see is a result of years of use of her body for her milk. Cows like Rose are routinely forced into pregnancy and will then have their calves removed so that we can consume their milk instead. This process is repeated to the point of physical and emotional exhaustion. When they stop producing, they will be sent to slaughter. Rose is emaciated, has untreated pustular lesions, infectious edemas on both legs, erythema, and severe laminitis. Infections of this degree and evidence of pus suggest a higher than acceptable number of somatic cells in her milk due to increased levels of white blood cells. It is these cells that are considered disease-causing agents in humans. Not only are the conditions like this a source of consistent pain and discomfort, common symptoms often include lethargy and severe depression. This farm is linked with Arla, the fourth largest milk producer in the world, who boast good conditions for their cows and claim good animal welfare is part of our promise. And if a cow gets sick, we treat them right away. Our investigators monitored Rose over the span of a month and saw no signs of treatment. And Rose was not the only cow on this farm who was seen to suffer. If this is a good condition, if this is immediate treatment, then what does neglect look like to the dairy industry? That aside, even if we're talking about these great conditions where they're free to roam, they can have a great time, that cow is made for their baby. So that baby is taken away from them. And what happens when they can't produce milk any longer?
You're dead!
And of course, it's no secret that cows are mammals, like we are. And when do we produce milk as mammals? When we have a baby. These cows have to be continually impregnated, typically forcibly and artificially inseminated, in order for them to continue producing that milk. So they have multiple babies taken away from them, they're exploited for a part of their body, a secretion that they produce, and when they can no longer deliver said product, they're killed.
Everybody's
going to die a horrific death for some cow's juice.
So even in these imagined brilliant scenarios, really great for the cow, they're free roaming, their babies are still taken from them, they're still being exploited, and yes, their life is forcibly taken from them by us. I'm so sick of the animal agriculture industry just spreading complete nonsense, and the dairy industry is literally the worst for it. So yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. I'm sorry that this was an unhappy one, but I had to circle it back to precisely what the sort of thing that, a cow who's under the protection, under the care of Arla is going to expect with their life. This was a terrible existence for this cow, and of course I had to narrate it and just watch it, and it was just horrific. So to relive that, and I couldn't imagine the experience that it was for that individual. And being one of the largest dairy companies in the entire world, really going to sell this idea that there's just these fields that they free roam, all of them, they're having a great time, you know, except the other things that we kind of have to do to them still. Just nonsense. Anyway, thank you for watching. I do hope you're well, and until next time, salads, I will see you soon.